Good evening, everybody, and welcome back. I am Sammy here at Sammy J Stitches, my Flosstube channel. It is Thursday, February 22nd, and I have decided yet again to try something new and different. We've all been doing the Stitch With Me videos lately. Not everybody, obviously, that's a hyperbole, but I've been doing Stitch With Me videos recently, as have a lot of other people, and they always have you like stitching over their shoulder or on top of their stitching so you can watch them stitch, and I think that's great, but I also feel like you don't have to be looking at my work to be stitching with me, because if you were here sitting here with me stitching, like Stitch With Me implies, then you would be sitting where you are now and watching me from this angle, and then I could pick it up and go, hey, look, this is what I'm working on, or I can point out things if I need to, but when you look up, you will see me. And I did this for two reasons. First was that it does make it a little easier to be able to do the Stitch With Me just wherever. The second is because I wanted to. I don't know. I did have another reason, but it has flown the coop. So I guess this still gives. I am also one that I talk with my hands, and so if you happen to be watching, you will see a bit of that. I did not. Okay, so a couple weeks ago when I did my last update video, not the vlog one, my update one, well, it was a couple weeks ago, and then I said I was going to do the vlog. Well, I'm planned on uploading the vlog the same general time frame as I would an update, and then I would, from that week to the next week, I wouldn't vlog, and I would just do a general update. Well, first of all, I tried to get my vlog to upload several times, and one night it took, like, I started at 9 p.m. and when I left work at 6 a.m. it was at like 77%, and then of course on the drive home it failed because I lose service. So, and then I tried a couple other times, and I was just having a heck of a time. I finally got it uploaded, but it was this week. It was yesterday, I believe. So, so that was a week behind. So you got no update the week it was supposed to come out. And then this week I was supposed to do an update between the vlog and here, and I haven't done that yet. In fact, and I think I've decided I'm not going to. And here's why. Because I have gotten so little stitching done since my vlog that it's almost not worth it. I would rather pull out those pieces in another update, like next week. Because I'm not going to vlog this week. I'm doing this. And next week I'll do a regular update, and I'll just include those literally 3 projects that were worked on since the last time I saw y'all. But now I'm gonna get into why that is. First, as y'all saw at the end of my vlog, hold on, let me do a quick count here, make sure I'm not okay. It was my son's birthday, so the Wednesday, and Michelle, if you're watching, you just messaged me, we're talking about tacos and donuts. So I got myself distracted, sorry. That Wednesday, I took them to play laser tag and do Skywalker. Now, we were supposed to do laser tag in an escape room, but the escape room was broken when we got there. So then they were like, Skywalker, Skywalker, which is like a ropes course, sort of, up in the air, like hanging from the ceiling of the place instead of, you know, on the ground. So you get buckled in a harness and you walk up these stairs, and then you could choose to go this path, which is like 2x4s that, yeah, in a line, and you walk across them, holding on to either the ropes or your harness. Or over here you have, it's literally just like a tightrope with stuff on the side to hold on to. And there's like 12 or 15 courses, and one of the courses is a zip line. And I have been wanting to do this for a really long time, but I had never gotten around to it. So then when the kids wanted to go, I was like, oh yeah, let's go. I get all harnessed in, I'm excited, I'm taking pictures of the kids. They all go ahead of me because they're so stinking excited, like trying to get them to go one by one was fun. Look, you're gonna get to see. Sexy. Okay. So I was very last, and I got to the top of the stairs, and I looked at my 2 kids and my 3 nieces and nephews, and I said, by the way, I'm terrified of heights. I think I did 2 of the courses because I ended up standing there trying to get up the gumption to go across the courses, and I got to the zip line, and I got to the very end of the platform, and I couldn't walk off. I couldn't get myself to do it. I had to turn around and go back the other way. And it sucks because I know I would enjoy it. It's just making myself step off the edge, knowing that I'm going to do a small fall, and then my harness would catch me and I would glide. And I couldn't get myself to do it. So, but one of my nephews, he probably did every course twice. Another one, he did several. My niece was kind of an in-between. She didn't do as many, but she did more than my kids because my kids were both scared too. So I think my daughter did like 2 courses, and my son did do the zip lining. Because he had the guy that worked there kind of coaxing him along and helping him. And you know, I did all this solo. Like, I had no other parent with me, so I didn't really have anybody that could go to each kid and help them out if they needed it. Not to mention I wasn't a real big help because I was terrified. But we had a lot of fun, and we played 2 games of laser tag, and I was sore for 2 days after that because laser tag is intensive, man, and you're not allowed to run. This is just walking and squatting the entire time. It may sound a little funny. The weather has changed, and my throat's sore, and my nose is kind of doing its thing. So, anyway, that was Wednesday, the 14th, Valentine's Day. That's how I spent my Valentine's. But that's okay. That's my husband and I aren't big on Valentine's Day. Like, he came out and he ate dinner with me at work, but it's just not really something we feel the need to celebrate. We have an anniversary. We have other days. Give me 1 second. I need to mark my pattern before I lose my place. Where's... maybe. And I had to move my pattern to my phone in order to be able to record on my iPad. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And you kind of get to see how I do this in action. 14, 15, 16, 17. So I did 17 stitches. I'm going to write 17 down. I'm having to play catch up. Again, I'm getting to that part of my story. So, Thursday was his actual birthday. While he was in school, my husband and I went to buy his birthday presents, which we got him a new PS4. His head burnt down in my father-in-law's house fire back in September. And got him a couple games, a couple Nerf guns. So, and then we went shopping to buy us a bigger bed. So we ended up with a king size, brand new pillow top. It's awesome. And these really cool pillows. I had never bought anything other than $5 Walmart pillows. I'm sorry, I'm gonna shake the iPad some tonight. And so we bought because they were giving us a deal on them for buying the mattresses, we got these really fancy nice pillows. Like my husband's, when you lay on it, it like goes cold for a few minutes. It's really cool. And mine's like this L shape, so when I sleep on my side, I've got all this here and here. Anyways, it's really cool. We bought new beds. We gave our daughter our bed, and then our son got the queen that a friend was using when he lived down here with us. So we all got bigger beds. And then we went and did cake and ice cream with the family because my son was born on my father-in-law's birthday. So we all celebrate together. And yeah, okay. So that consisted of my Wednesday and Thursday, which meant I did absolutely no stitching. None whatsoever. So from the end of my vlog until that Friday, no stitching. On Friday, I pulled out, well, I had to play some catch up on Birthstone Dragon, so that took about half the night. And then I pulled out, let's see if I can remember. I have notes. Oh, Nest is Blessed, and I worked on it. I felt like I got some good, no, I'm sorry, I take that back. Friday is We Stitch Smalls. So I pulled out a new Christmas ornament and started it. It's a little Christmas tree. I got like 3/4 of the way through it. And then Saturday, I worked on Nest is Blessed. And then when I got off Saturday or Sunday morning, I went home. I took a 3-hour nap. So from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. And then I loaded up my husband and my 2 children in the car and drove for 8 hours. I take that back. The drive from my house to my parents' house is about 8 hours because they live in Houston. And or they live south of Houston. It takes about roughly 8 to 8.5 hours, depending on how many times we stop from our house there. The drive on Sunday took us over 12 hours. And the reason is we always stop in San Antonio because that's a little, from our side, it's a little more than halfway. And that's where we stop for gas. And it's usually a whole lot cheaper than here. And so we stopped for gas. And then we switched drivers. My husband started driving. And it took us 4 hours, I think, to get 5 miles. There was this big, well, I didn't know what was going on. Of course, you think it's an accident because traffic is just not moving. We played the ABC game. I don't know if y'all ever play it, where you try and find the ABCs in order on signs, the side of trucks, on license plates. We played it 3 times. My daughter and I played Battleship on our phones against each other a couple times. We were enjoying ourselves as a family, but we were just sitting there. And my car does not have AC. It was overcast and it wasn't a very hot day, but it was still hot to be just sitting still. So, anyways, turns out, because I found the news article while we were, right as the traffic started actually moving again, and a state trooper had pulled somebody over, and the guy he pulled over had falsely identified himself, so the trooper was going to arrest him. The guy in the car took off. There was a high-speed chase going westbound on the eastbound lane. Eastbound is where we were heading. And then the trooper got him stopped, and when he stopped him, and I know from pictures that he the car wrecked at some point somehow. I don't know how, but so he got him stopped. The guy got out, fired his gun at the state trooper, got him in the arm. The state trooper shot him, and then they were both down and had to be airlifted and all that hoopla. So it shut down big part of the road for several hours. It was insane. So what should have taken us 8 hours took us over 12. And by the time we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. By the time we got to my parents' house, it was like 11:30 at night. And even though we had only had 3 hours of sleep, we still kind of had to wind down. The kids were already out. Like, they walked in the house and just went to sleep. But we had to wind down. So we sat there and we watched some of the figure skating with my mom. And just kind of relaxed, and then we went to bed. The reason we had to drive to Houston is because my son had an appointment with an oral surgeon. I'm making sure I didn't miss a stitch here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It just seems weird. Okay. Do you ever have when your threads don't lay completely the correct way and you're worried you missed one of the holes? Since, you know, I'm over 2, I missed, yeah, anyways. So, back in December when I took my son to his dentist appointment, they did an x-ray and they found a mass in his jaw that had, like, the previous dentist appointment, you know, they did an x-ray and the grown-up teeth underneath were touching the baby teeth. There was no space in between them, which is how they're supposed to grow. Well, then this time when they took a scan, there was this mass, and it had pushed the adult teeth down, and they asked him if he was in any pain. He wasn't in any pain, but they don't know what the mass is. So they referred him to an oral surgeon, and we didn't really have any near us. The closest would be San Antonio, and if I'm already driving that far, I might as well go see my family and my son's other doctors that are in Houston. So we got an oral surgeon there in Houston. And so we went. Their real concern is the fact that it grew so fast. And in less than a year between the dentist appointments, it had grown really big. So, Monday morning we got up and we took him to see this oral surgeon. Well, we visited some family and stuff. And then we went to his appointment and they took another scan, and it had grown even in the 2 months that it took me to get a referral and an appointment and everything with an oral surgeon. And the problem with that is, the biggest problem is that it's pushing down those grown-up teeth and impacting them together down here, but it's also eating away at his jaw muscles, or jaw bone, I'm sorry. And so they said he has less than 2 centimeters of jawbone left, and if he were to get a good hit in his jaw, it could snap. So they want to try and do surgery as soon as possible. They're going to remove 2 teeth, take out the mass, send it to the lab for a biopsy, and see whether it is a cyst or a tumor, and go from there. So that's why we went to Houston. We're still waiting to hear from the surgeon when we're going to have the surgery, so we don't know that yet. And then the next day, and then visiting, then my sister came over to my dad's house and we all had dinner together, and it was hectic and crazy until late. So no stitching got done that day. The next day we visited with some more family, and then we drove all the way back home, another 8 hours. So no stitching got done yesterday. No, day before yesterday. Yesterday I got home, I got to do a little bit on my Heaven and Earth design. I finally put it on the Q-snap, because I remember the last time I told y'all that I had finished my 1200 stitches for Mini Phantom of the Masquerade, and I needed to put Mini Treasure Hunt Bookshelf on. Hadn't even gotten a chance to put it on or work on it in the last few weeks. It's been so hectic, and whenever the surgeon calls, we may have to wait a month for the surgery. He may want us there tomorrow. So we're going to have to be prepared to be able to drop everything and go do it, because they said it needs to be done as soon as possible to keep that erosion of the jawbone as minimal as possible. So it's madness and chaos. And one of these Stitch With Me videos, I'm not going to do it today because I don't want this to run an extremely long amount of time, but eventually I kind of want to go over my son's illness, everything that we've put into that, what it, like, you know, from the beginning to now, his journey, I should say, so that you can get a little bit better understanding of it, because it's not one of those things that you can just say, oh yeah, this is what it was and this is what we did, because it has been a very long and complicated process. And I don't know that this jaw thing has anything to do with all that, but it has seemed ever since that if it's not one thing, it's another. I have been to very few doctor's appointments that haven't turned into referrals to surgeons. It is insane. But we'll get into that another time. So that's why there hasn't been a lot of stitching. You know, life. It sucks, but you gotta do it, right? I'm ready for, well, I got to relax a little bit yesterday, but I did a lot of catching up on my house because between birthday and everything else, I hadn't done a whole lot, so, but I got completely caught up yesterday, which was nice. And still got to sit down and stitch for, I'd say it was like an hour and a half. I got 117 stitches done on my Heaven and Earth design, but it's a real confetti heavy area, so that is part of the reason why. And because of that, it's real thick, and I was having such a hard time getting my needle through, and my fingertips are already like, all the weather changing has made my skin dry and peely, so they're sore, and then I'm trying to shove a needle through. It's crazy. So yeah, that is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 19, 20. I hope y'all are all having a wonderful stitchy night, because I am going to upload this on Friday so that all the stitching stuff is there. I would like, if it's possible, I know, like, I'm a bad commenter. I hardly ever comment because I watch it on my phone, usually listening to it while I drive, or, you know, while I'm washing dishes, so my hands are wet and nasty and I'm not going to go typing on my phone. So I understand a lot of people can't comment, but if you can, let me know what you think about stitching with me this way instead of having to see my work all the time, so I know whether or not I should keep doing it or not. Like I said, it makes it a lot easier because where I'm at work, there would be no way for me to position it for you to have that view, but if I could do it this way, I could do it a little more often, because I sit in a tiny little shack. I don't know if y'all could tell. That's one corner of it, and then that's another corner, and it's a square, so it's tiny. I can touch both sides with my hand flat against the window. So, excuse me. I could do it a little more often. It's quiet here. I've seen one truck since I've been on the video with y'all, and he was leaving, so I wave him and write his information down. So yeah, I am working on Birthstone Dragons because, like I said, I'm having to play catch up for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Wow, holy cow. We were out of town Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. We got back Wednesday, but I didn't work on this. Today is Thursday, so 5 days worth I have to work on tonight. I've done you know, 38 stitches since I started talking to y'all 25 minutes ago. But I'm on my last dragon. Once I finish up December in this border, we're all done. It's so exciting. Later tonight, I will be working on, today's Thursday. Originally, I had put foxglove on the schedule for today for no particular reason, I don't think. Just kind of filled the spot with it. And, what's the diamond? I don't know if I'm going to do her tonight, only because I'm going to, excuse me, be playing catch up on this for a couple hours. And that's a couple hours taken away from her. And she has not gotten that much work since I started her. I would rather dedicate an entire night to her this month. So I may swap her with one of my other ones, depending on what I have left, because I have to go through and figure that out. So I guess you'll see next time what I ended up deciding to do. Tomorrow is Friday, so I will be pulling out my first Halloween ornament of the year. My plan was to do one a month. Didn't work out so well for January because I didn't have anything ready. And on the 8th of this month, we had to kit it up, and I kitted up 8 things. I want to say 5 of them were Halloween things. So my Halloween Fridays can get some love there. So I do the loop method. I lick my floss. You get to see all this when you see it at this angle. If you're even watching. You're not supposed to be watching. You're supposed to be stitching, just listening. But I've wanted to do this for a while, where I could just kind of sit back, relax, talk, and stitch without having to worry about, can you see my stitching, can yada yada. But when I'm having to do an update and I'm having to show you whips, I'd have to stop stitching, pull up the whip, go back to it, and it's not feasible. So maybe I can alternate them or have both in a week. I don't know. Tell me what y'all think. I've been loving the comments lately. I've been getting so many more of them. And once again, I try to reply, but I'm really bad at it. I know. Sam, you've gotta work on it. I even made that whole habit tracker to work on it. Still haven't done much of anything with that. It's a mess. I did do a lot of getting ready yesterday for March. So like I went through each of my groups and wrote down the events, and there's really not that many. February was kind of a crazy month, but other than that, there's only a few a month for each of my groups. And of course, Ultimate Cross Stitch group, they just post it when they're ready to do it. It's not a heads up type thing. So right now they're doing their Winter Olympics, and it's like they tell you what to do and you've got 2 days to do it. So I'm playing a little catch up on that one too. And it's always pretty much stitch counts, which I like because I stitch count anyway. So it's dual purpose. It's for me to track what I'm doing, and it's for, you know, putting on there. And what I really like about the Ultimate Cross Stitch group is the badges, because then not only have you dual purpose, you've stitched because you want to, you've counted to participate in this event, and you get recognition for it. You get a badge that you could put on your oh shoot, I wasn't supposed to put stitches there. You could put on your Facebook or your Instagram, or just keep in a folder and enjoy. I've always really liked that about it. So yeah, so I went through my March calendar, and the whips that I've already completed this month, I've put them on the calendar for next month, along with all the events, so that it's ready. I printed out my March whip tracker, because I actually printed out whip the monthly whip trackers for the rest of the year so I can get them put in my journal. I need to start filling it in because February is a short month and it is almost over. Like, next Wednesday is the last day of the month. And, man, before I know it, spring break's gonna be here, and then it's summer, and then we're halfway through the year already. It just goes so fast. So, yep, that's kind of life right now. I printed off, some more project things because I need more project pages for the new stuff that I've kitted, and it's ready to go. And I want so badly to be ordering stuff, especially with this whole Lizzie Kate retirement thing, because I know there are several of hers I would love to do. Like, I've got Christmas rolls, but I would love Halloween rolls. I'd love the Jingles and the Six Fat Men, but I don't have the funds right now to be going crazy because I just bought a bed and I'm having to go in and out of town the next couple months. Plus, StitchCon is right around the corner, so I don't want to just go out and spend a bunch. And I know they're going to get more expensive and harder to find, but I'm just going to take my chances when I'm ready and hope I come across some really awesome deal on Statcha and Load, or, you know, one of my Flosstube friends does a giveaway or pass the stash or anything like that. Because that'd work too. Oh, that's not the right. Oh, I'm a mess. I'm not sure how I'm feeling about the way December's turning out. He's cute, but I just don't know. So anyway, we are at 32 minutes, and I'm hoping I didn't bore y'all to death, but I talked pretty much the entire time without a tag. That tells you something right there. So I think I will let y'all go and see y'all next time. I want to thank everyone that subscribes to me, that keeps coming back despite the fact that I ramble. And this time I didn't even give you that much to see, but that's okay. You weren't supposed to be looking anyway. You're supposed to be stitching. We're gonna stitch and stitch and stitch. So here's where I'm at right now before I let y'all go. We did this light blue color throughout his body, and we're working on a darker, I don't know if you can see that, this blue color. We came down and now we're going back up and around. So hoping to get quite a bit done on him in the next little bit and then move on to the next thing. So I hope y'all have a great week and happy stitching. Bye.